not watched it yet, I'm okay if you are still watching the video as we begin today. I'm okay with that. I feel like it's that important of a video. Oh no, what happened to my text? It was on the board. It's not on there now. Well, I'll stick it back in chat. For those of you that are catching the recording, you will find that link in the announcements. And I'll also stick it in your plan for the day. All right, because it's also a great resource. Oh, my video is not on. It's also a great resource for you to use if you might have any questions about it as we go forward. Okay. Awesome. So we are going to look at some pretty crazy stuff today. I'm super pumped about this lesson. It's one of my favorite topics in general when it comes to teaching biology. We are right here. All right, we are on Wednesday. We are going to be looking at biotechnology, genetic engineering, and DNA electrophoresis. Although it looks like in your calendar like 3 separate topics, they really actually have a lot to do with one another. And you're going to see kind of how and what I mean by that here in a minute. Again, so this is Wednesday. This is our last day of content lessons this week. That doesn't mean that I'm not available the rest of the week. So Thursday and Friday, we will have help sessions from 8:30 to 9. So if you leave today and you are just feeling totally stressed or frustrated, don't understand something, or just want to come tomorrow to the help session to make sure your quizzes from this week are taken and you want to use that time to take them there, that would be great. All right, let's end chat on that conversation just because I didn't see where it began and I want to be careful of what we're saying in class. And one of those words are a little bit unsettling to me. All right, it's okay. That's all right. I just wasn't able to follow all of it. No worries. All right. Okay. Funny. Okay. So we will just move on from that. Not that it was bad, but we're going to turn our attention to what we're going to do today. And I would love anyone to read what are our goals? What are we here for? Someone read for us.
If my mic works, I can read.
I can hear you.
Yay. So the goals are: what is recombinant DNA? Why would a scientist insert DNA of one organism into the DNA of a second organism? And also, what are some pros and cons of genetic engineering? Boat.
Perfect. Thank you. So you see that we're taking some of these base level of our knowledge and understanding of what we've talked about with our DNA, with our gene expression, saying that the last 2 days we've talked about how our genes code for proteins and our proteins send out all of these messages on how and what to make. Okay? This is unit, I think, 1.06. For those of you who asked, 1.06, 1.07. And I think that's right here. Yep. So we're on 106, 107, and 107.5 gel electrophoresis. So yeah, today we're going to take it to some of this analysis level. What I like about these analysis lessons is we get to do some of picking of your brain, okay? We're going to do some picking of your brain on these topics. So what is biotechnology? I love this picture, okay? Why do I love it? Because what biotechnology is a lot of what this picture resembles. It is the actual changing of DNA. Or we're able to use what we know about DNA, the tools we have to go in and make modifications. All right, the science that involves using living organisms to produce needed materials. So we can do things that would modify them. Have any of you seen on food? Well, I'm guaranteeing most of you know what an organic food is, right? Have you seen that in the room? I'm gonna get away from that light. Organic food. Sign of life. Yes, I have heard of that. It is crazy, isn't it, Diamond? Yes, we're able to use organs from other people and other animals to replace them in our own bodies. My dad actually tore his ACL earlier in his life, and he actually has someone who passed but was an organ donor. They actually replaced his ACL with somebody else's. And it worked, and it was wonderful and super cool. And that's kind of where we're going to head today. Yes, Brianna, you're right. Organic food. So organic food is essentially this. It's something that basically you can know when you go to the store and buy. It has not been messed with. Does that make sense? They aren't going to use like chemical pesticides on that. There are also bananas, okay, that are what we call genetically modified bananas, which means that we've gone in, just like with these tools, and messed with the bananas. And a lot of times it'll be to make them look yellower. Okay? It's going to be a genetically enhanced product. And a lot of times we're consuming them. They have genetically modified corn. If you go to your Google today and look up genetically modified plants, you will be like just mind blown by the amount of things that you may have in your everyday life that we have changed and modified with our technology. All right. So genetic engineering is a process that involves identifying a gene, such as the color of a banana or the juiciness of a strawberry. All right. And what we do is we go in and we give them a characteristic that they didn't originally have. Does that make sense? How crazy is that? Did you know that they did this with your foods that you're eating? I know. It's kind of nuts. Trying to follow chat here. Let's make sure we're staying on topic. Yes. So they actually are taking DNA in everyday life things that we use, they're modifying that. And that's called genetic engineering. All right. Plasmids. All right. Everybody type plasmids in the chat. Plasmids. All right. Plasmids are like the tool that they use. All right. They're circular pieces of bacterial DNA. Okay. Plasmids are what we call vectors, and vectors are just basically a tool or a way of entering that DNA into the situation. Right. Plasmids are used sometimes in manufacturing insulin. Right. A lot of times people will say, oh, this is so crazy. This is so bad. Why do we do this? There's also a lot of good reasons that we do genetic engineering. All right. A lot of medications can be attributed to going in and getting pieces of DNA from people or organisms and doing something with them. All right. So I'm ready to do this. I have a Nearpod for us. Today. So we are going to attempt to do this in Quest together. Give me 1 second. Go ask somebody else, Rennie. Let me get this. Let's do this. So I want you to go right now, and I'm going to share my screen. So I'm going to ask for your cooperation in chat right now to just keep things very minimal until we get in here, okay? So we're going to share the entire screen. Please go to join.nearpod.com. So in your browser, all right, in your browser, please go to join.nearpod.com. I did not put the link in chat because I cannot see I'm seeing your chat come in, but I can't type into chat. If JB or Alex or Kaden, Jana, Brianna, if one of you would want to put that in chat, thank you, Madison. Alex. I'm going to get plugged in here too. Mila, can you plug the back of this cord in for me, please? Join.nearpod.com and then type in this code. Now, it's going to ask you to put your name in. This is accountability, so don't sit on the other side of the screen. I'm going to be mean teacher for a minute and just say, don't sit on the other side of the screen and not join in. One reason I love Nearpod is it does keep track of who's in the class and everything that you're doing. So when you're participating, it's showing me your data. So this is not like a warning, but I want you to be engaged. I'm using Nearpod because it's a girl boss. All right, it's not because I am trying to like be a control freak, but I want you to learn. I want you to learn, and this is a really neat tool, but it's not a time for you to disengage, walk away, not go to the link, not put in the code, and not participate. Okay. All right, if I could have some of you man the chat and put that link and code in, I'm going to go ahead and leave this screen. I'm going to try to copy it myself, but I can't type in the chat, okay? All right, so we're going to do teacher plays. And here we go. So we're going to start this out. It's going to be a video, and it's going to engage us in conversation. It's going to open up some realities to you that are crazy. So let's listen. Thank you, Alex. Can you hear everyone here okay? Any better? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my microphone off and then try it, okay? Let me know if we can hear now. Okay, so let's start this over. Ugh, so frustrating. Okay, so what I'm going to do is leave this session and come back in. Start the new session. Please don't make us get a new code. It might be a new code. Someone put this into chat for me. Can you see my screen? Wait. Here's our new code. Join.nearpod.com. All right, you should be able to log in now, and I want you to watch this until the first question and answer that first question. I'm gonna keep putting that in there. Give me a green check then when you have got that first part of. I think that if you screen share, it's probably going to be the same way as what mine did, where you're not going to hear the sound. So just go ahead and listen to it on your end. When you've listened to that first part of the Nearpod, give me a green check. This code should take you right into, I think, that I'm putting you in there. I'm not screen sharing at the moment because it wasn't working. So there is a new code. The new code is KGUWV. And that will allow you to watch it on your own. So just give me a green check. Awesome. So I am seeing Jaden, Micah, Emma, Alex, Jarrett, Tyler, Josiah, Honesty and Autumn, Madison, Diamond, Shania, Zachariah, Maria, Kalia, Brianna, Jacob, Peyton, Katie, Thomas, Kalia, Amira, Jalen, Leah, Riley, Leah, Jalen, JB, Micah, Ava, Xavier, Brendan. All of you are to that first point. Right? Stick an answer in there. What do we know about genes? And then I want you to move on to this next section. What do you know about genes? All right. We talked a lot about that yesterday. What do we know? Well, we know that genes make up our DNA. We know that genes code for everything we need to do in our daily life, both personally and cellularly. Yes, Gattaca. It is a crazy movie. I honestly really love it. They talk about the movie. You should seriously, if you have time today, watch it. It is such a cool movie that really gives you insight about what this is all about. All right, I'm going to end this poll, restart the poll. Go ahead and take off and listen to that next section of video. Good. So we just ended up that part of the Nearpod, the type of dog. All right. We just talked about those dogs. Do any of you have crosses of dogs? Did you know that that's kind of a way of bioengineering? Sometimes we'll take genes from dogs that don't shed. Do you have any of you have those miracle dogs that don't shed hair? They're called mutts. Yeah. See, Jack. We have so mutts are a natural thing because of just you know genetic selection of dogs, but there's also specific selection of breeders when it comes to picking dogs that have quality traits that we want. Yep, just pause it once we get there. It's really crazy. So what do genes not determine? I'm seeing a lot of you pick these answers. All right. Do they can how hard you work, the color of your eyes, the texture of your hair. You're all right. How hard you work, a lot of that is effort, right? The color of our eyes is coded by genes, the texture of our hair, the color of our hair, unless we've colored it. Those are all by genes. And it's the same way by dogs, which is why we have this selective breeding, which is a type of biotechnology. All right, so let's head on to the next section of the Nearpod. Go ahead and press play until you hit that next paused entry point. So what is CRISPR? All right, it's not a snack. What is it? Most of you that are answering, 64% of you that are answering CRISPR. Yep, they just talked about it in the video. Go ahead and keep going in your Nearpod if you haven't gotten to CRISPR. But CRISPR is something that has recently been created that helps us quickly identify spots in our DNA and helps us target those so that it can be quickly changed. All right, go ahead and continue your Nearpod. So now we got a good look. Give me a green check when you're back from that section. I can see a lot of that in your answers, that as who is answering this next question about what is something CRISPR should not do. All right, this kind of gets into the morality of the situation, okay? Because so it's saying just because I can go in and look at Brooke's DNA and I can identify a spot in her DNA that is favorable or unfavorable, should I do it? Should that be a thing? What do you guys think? Tell me on your mics, tell me in chat. What do you think? If it gets rid of bad stuff and makes more cheese, yes. Isaiah just says hard no. Yeah, so it was talking about like how some children, even in third world countries, die a lot of like malaria or West Nile virus because they don't have them like the hospitals and the health care that we have here in the States. So that we could actually create a fix, a genetic fix to those diseases. That seems like a positive thing, right? Yeah. Kind of can be a slippery slope. Yeah, you're right. You're right. All right, so let's pause right here. This is a good part to pause. Go ahead and move on to the next part of your Nearpod. Answer the question because, again, it's collecting everyone's responses that are in here. Also, only about 3/4 of us are in the Nearpod. So if you are one of those students that is not in the Nearpod, please make sure you click on this link. This is class. This is mandatory. This is part of your attendance. Make sure that you are, yep, though you have got to answer the questions too. So don't just watch the videos, all right? Let's move on to this next section. Good, I see a lot of you answering those questions. Go ahead and finish it out. We're almost done with that. Go ahead and finish out this Nearpod. Yep, it'll keep your responses, Kylie. No worries. Good. So mine is finished up. I want to just pull up a Jamboard for us right now. And I want to go through and just write. I want to know your opinions on this. So I think, in my opinion, it's a very slippery slope, right? Like he talked about, if we could fix some of these genetic issues, like maybe the spot in our DNA that produces like we talked about yesterday, the lactose for lactose intolerance. If we fixed it in one generation of people, then we could potentially, or through the next generations, keep anyone from ever having that problem again and eliminate it from an issue that would occur in society. Okay? So part of that is like, wow, how cool would it be if we could fix something that is a medical history problem for a lot of Americans and never have that problem ever again? How cool would that be? But then we also saw the thing about the genetically engineered baby, where it's like, oh, well, I don't, before your babies are even born, while they're in womb, that they could actually be genetically modified so that when they come out, and are born, any of those issues that you feel like could be potential issues are all of a sudden nothing. It's what they referred to as a designer baby. All right. Would you want to have a designer baby? Would you want to be a designer baby? What if it were just for people that could afford it? What would that do to society? I just feel like there's a lot of avenues of craziness that we could get to, right? So I'm putting right now in chat our Jamboard link. I'm going to share my screen and let's just, and if you want to hop on your mics and talk about your opinion about that too, that's fine with me. What do you guys think? This is going to be kind of our exit ticket as we leave today. What do you think about genetic engineering? We think it's a good thing. I'm going to go ahead and I'm on this board. I don't like it. Isn't a preferable option. More milk and more cheese. Feel like it can do a lot of really good things. It also just seems to be something that could be a pretty scary thing, right? So as you leave on this board, stick up here what you think about genetic engineering. I want to know your opinions. I don't think it's all bad. I really don't. Yes, I like that. It's a moral judgment thing, it's who's to say that I should be able to manipulate who my kid is. If I got to choose what Mila, like who Mila was, or some of her identity, is she really who she's supposed to be? What kind of a relationship would we have if she grew up and didn't like something that I added or changed about her? How crazy would that be? The worst idea ever. But maybe there's someone, like what someone said, it's good with medical issues. What if you have someone in your family that seriously struggles with either a genetic disorder or something that we could benefit from genetic engineering with? What if that could be life-changing to them or potentially save their life? And who should be in charge of saying what is too far and what is okay? Right? Who should be the gauge of morality? Kirby. The person, right? Well, I know. I feel, but if everyone decides what's right for them, I feel like that could get pretty scary, don't you think? Then you got some families really messing with genetic identities, other people not touching it. So I feel like you would have some major extremes. Yeah. Well, I'm going to continue to read your responses. We can pull this up tomorrow. And if anybody thinks about this on this more and really would like to share their feelings about it, I'd love when we are able to take what's going on in science, what we're learning about, and turn it into form opinions on it. Okay. The video I let you at the beginning of class, it talks about how each one of us, we can take a picture of our DNA through gel electrophoresis. If you didn't get to watch that, I would like you to go back and watch that. Okay. Awesome. That was a quick class today. I feel like it went so quick, but I feel like it's just because it's super interesting content. You have two more quizzes, 3 total this week. So it is Wednesday, it's not Friday. Be sure that by Friday, all 3 of those quizzes have been taken. Don't rush into them, but take time to make sure that you're reading your content, that you are going back and watching our lessons if you need to. I'm going to post on the board this Nearpod that we did. I'll also post the video on gel electrophoresis. And we will talk more on Monday. We'll open up maybe with a conversation about genetic engineering and post this week of study how you feel about that. Good. We're not taking the test this week. We have 3 quizzes this week. They're short quizzes. All right. I know it's late, so I'm going to let you go. If you pass the quiz, do you have to do the reading? Nope. The reading is a supplemental resource. All right, just like you would have a text in your biology book of a brick and mortar classroom, unless we have class time where we're sitting here and reading it. Make sure you're getting your biology hours in. That's a good way to get your hours in. Thanks, Madison. Use it as a resource. Use our other things as resources as well. And I will see you all soon. Have a great day. Goodbye, JB. Bye, Ava. Bye, Isaiah. Bye, Micah. Bye, Mila.